Hello.
All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. Oh, what the? Your meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Oh.
What the hell?
What?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mellow Talk. Today, I'm joined by Temi, and we also have a very special guest today with us. So before we start, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. In your own words, who exactly is daisyworld?
Whoa. Okay. I'm Daisy. I'm from Los Angeles. I do music. I make clothing. I would say that altogether, I'm like a multimedia artist, and I'm about to start releasing music for the first time in 2 years. And that's kind of what's going on with me at the moment. Oh, and I'm 28.
That's exciting.
That's fire.
2 years. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So that's a very big deal. I mean, especially after 2 years, like coming back into the music scene after doing art and everything like that. It's got to be a little bit a little bit of pressure on you. You know.
It's a lot. It's like there's so many pieces to it because it's like first I used to do everything with a band. And when you're working with a band, it's almost like the anxiety, the pressure is like or it's just like it's spread out amongst a group of people where now it just feels so much more intense because it's all on me. And it's like if somebody doesn't like it, I feel like it's just me. And it's like I just have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like that was completely just me making all those choices. But it also is really like liberating in the same way where it has felt really good to just be doing everything exactly the way that I want to be doing it. But it is definitely spooky ooky. And also for a while, it's like because it's been so long, people thought that I was done making music. People thought I was just doing the clothing. And so it kind of feels, that I think there's a meme that's like about like it says like I've been making moves silently, like just so everybody knows. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? That has
Yeah. I've
been
been making
me.
moves in science. I know what you mean.
Exactly. Like that has been me because I've been working on this project for so long, for like a year and a half. And so it's like I feel like for a really long time I've been like, something's coming, like I promise, like just wait, be patient. Something's coming, I promise. And now it's finally happening, and I'm kind of like,
You're like, what do we do now? Because it's actually getting.
Yeah.
yeah, now I'm like, oh, okay, the day I've been waiting for is literally 4 days away. And I'm just kind of like, I'm like, am I even like alive right now? I don't know exactly what's happening, but I do feel so excited.
Yeah. I can imagine. It's like like you said, it's a combination of a lot of things. The big weight that you've had, like 2 years since releasing music, and it's been a year and a half
Yeah.
in the making. That's big.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, and just
So
like sitting and waiting on it and like sharing it like with my close friend. Like it's almost like it's so old to me now. And now I'm like, oh, and now people are gonna be hearing it for the first time when like this is a song that is like deeply ingrained in my body at this point.
yeah,
Yeah. I
But
feel
I can't
that
wait for people to
definitely.
hear it.
yeah. So like that was also gonna be my third question, but I'm gonna just go into it right now because we're already on the topic. So I was going to say, at the time of filming this, you're preparing to release your first single called Your Sagi off your new album Toothpick.
Yeah.
So what has the process of recording this album been like? And what experiences that you've gone through in your life have helped to shape it so far? Because you said it's, a year and a half in the making.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I recorded it all in this room that I'm in right now. I recorded it with one of my really close friends, Albert Gordon. It was just us making this project. We had a couple of musicians come in, like we had a couple guitar players, a keyboard player, but we did it all in this room. And it was like an accumulation I mean, like some of the songs were like so old. Some of the songs were songs that we started like right when we first started working together. And we had like this random opportunity come up where we thought that we were going to go on tour, like out of nowhere. And so we were kind of like, okay, like we need to finish a bunch of songs so that we can go on this tour. And so throughout that process, we kind of realized like, oh fuck, like we have a whole album. Like we have 8 songs here that like are finished, and we didn't we were just kind of like making music. We weren't thinking about what it was or thinking of it as a cohesive piece. But after that happened, we were both like, okay, we're making an album. Like it's all coming together. And like I said, like we did it all in this room. It was so, it was cool to kind of realize that like I'm also a producer. Like I'm not just a songwriter. I'm not just like singing on it. I'm not just playing instruments. Like I also like actually can produce. And Albert was so instrumental in helping me figure that out because he just like really like so often would like ingrain in me like I am here to make what you want. Like I am here to
Yeah.
be like your conduit for like knowing how to use a computer because I'm like not I don't want to touch a computer. I'm so bad at it. I don't understand. And like he was so instrumental in helping me believe in myself in that way and like inspire me to like hear things and be like, oh, like I feel like I need a sound that goes like wingy wingy wing. And like he understood the way that I like verbalize things as well, because they can be a little bit confusing. And Albert just like fucking got it, and we worked so well together. And so recording the album was just like so fun and so, I mean, it's like so DIY. Like it's literally like I'm singing in my closet. We're like so many parts of the songs are like it was so fun and it felt so like he was just here every day and we were working on it. So many of the vocals are like, you know, there's a lot of like voice memo recordings, a lot of scratch vocals that we ended up using. So it all just feels very, very personal and intimate and just so me. And so making the album was like literally incredible. And what was the second half of your question? Because I remember being like, I need to answer that, but now I've lost.
It's like what helped shape you to create the album? Like what experiences have you had that like
Okay.
led to the creation of it?
I would say the big difference for me with I feel like this album for me has been like coming of age. Like I feel like I grew the fuck up when I wrote this album because I feel like a lot of my I think that I just grew up as a human woman first and first mostly, but there was something about the writing of these songs where I felt like I was like no longer complaining about things and just like stating the ways that I felt about it. I feel like there's like a lot of like lessons learned in these songs. Like I feel like I'm writing a lot about like my mental health and the way that I deal with things and the things that I learned and not just the things I experienced. Like I feel like with every single song, there's almost like I could write a little like speech about like this is what song is about, this is what I learned from this experience, and this is how it helped me in the future and brought me to where I am now. Like it just feels so coming of age and like so much more mature than the writing that I used to do. And yeah, like I said, like it's not like, you know, raise your hand if like you're single and like someone fucked you over. Now it's kind of like someone fucked me over and this is how I dealt with it and these are all my emotions about it and this is how I grew from that and this is what incredible thing happened afterwards. Like it's so much more
more mature.
It's more
so
you.
much more mature.
More you.
Completely. And it's like it's more hopeful. It's not just like blah blah blah, everything sucks. It's like shit sucks, you learn from it, and then you become a way
be better
person. Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot too. It's about the process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more, I would say it's just a lot more hopeful. Like it's not just like blah blah blah. It's like
I'm sad and then, you know, move on. This happened and then I'm gonna grow from it and live on, you know. I like that a lot. It's like honestly such a good concept. I really like that. So
yeah. And I also like for me like I love being a musician, I love performing, I love having fun, but like the thing that I think that I love the most about making music and performing is like the conversation that you get to have with your audience. And like I'm like such like I love to give advice. I love to like talk through someone else's problems and like share about like a similar experience I had, and like I'm really down to like be a person that like people can lean on. And I feel like this album is me almost like being able to do that for like, you know, however many people are going to listen and like connect with that and be like, oh shit, like I went through that same thing. And yeah, maybe I can look at it this way. And like, instead of just being hurt by it, I can like get stronger from it. And so I do hope, I don't know, I just think that that's such a cool thing about music is like, I get to be in a conversation with like millions of people at the same time. And I do
Yeah,
hope that people hear this and like, it just like, I just want to make people feel good, you know?
You know what I like
I
about
feel
that too?
that.
Yeah, I feel like that's been such a big theme in like music recently. It's not necessarily just, you know, relaying these emotions onto their audiences, but also kind of like guiding them through it and giving their experience and like I said, like
Mm,
processing those emotions and putting it in a way that other people can learn from it. And I feel like that's more powerful than stating the problem,
yeah,
offering a solution.
yeah, definitely.
Completely.
I
It's
agree
like,
with that.
yeah, and even just like think about TikTok. I love TikTok and think about like how many videos on TikTok are is someone being like, "Hey, here's my life hack that I learned," and like now everybody can use it. Like I feel like there's an energy right now of people being like, "Let's all help each other." You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
world has gone to
Yeah,
shit. Like let's all help each other together and like let me share what I've learned and this thing where, you know, here's a way to tie your shoelace better and like now everybody can do it. You know what I mean? Whatever.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
think, and like that's just I think that TikTok is really good at that too, of just like building
definitely.
communities of people who are just like down to be helpful and support one another.
Yeah, I definitely think that like after COVID and like once all that hit and like everyone really was like, okay, we all got one life. Let's all like just bond together and really help each other. Cause I see that a lot more than like I did before COVID. There's like a lot more
Completely.
people who are really just open to helping each other, giving advice. Like I feel like just like it's become
Totally.
more positive lately, in this like day and
That,
age. Just
It's true. It's
yeah,
totally true. And it's so beautiful, you know? And I think that people
definitely.
love to talk shit about, you know, the younger generation and whatever, and we love taking
Yeah.
selfies and whatever,
oh,
but
we
it's
hear
like
it
Blah
all
blah
the time.
blah.
but it's like
But
actually like we love being connected to one another and sharing about
mm,
ourselves and learning about other people and other people's experiences. Like I think that like I love Gen Z.
yeah.
That kind of music can help kind of bridge that gap too between like our
Yeah.
older generations. Because like you said, you know, they just talk about how all we want to do is go on our phones, use TikTok, do this and that. You know, we lost our social skills. But
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
you know, we just do it in a different way that's, you know, for modern
Yeah.
times. You know what I mean? It's like our
Totally.
modern
Yeah.
solution to that.
Different way, same problems, It's
Mhm.
nothing,
Exactly.
no, yeah.
We're
No, that's
just being
definitely
social in a different way.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
basically. That's why honestly for me I like relate with like Kid Cudi, for example, because like I think he dropped like an album, I think Man on the Moon, I believe, and it was
Mhm.
like just so like personal where like I could resonate and like understand what he's saying. And like, but since he's like way older than me, people wouldn't obviously get that, like, oh, Kid Cudi's like, you can't be having the same thing you're dealing with. So like that's like the type of like bridging the gap type thing that I really like of like everyone still goes through the same thing in their own way. That's like,
100%. There's like songs that
yeah,
I love that were written in the 20s, and I'm like,
exactly.
yes, girl, like I feel that way too. It's like that. That's why I have like a dream where I like love jazz music so much. And I really love especially jazz standards. And I have
Mm,
this dream of like doing multiple EPs where I do a standards album, but I get like different people to feature on each one, and each one is also like modernized. But like I
mm.
think it's so like you can just take a song written in the 20s and I can sing it to you and you can be like, yeah, I absolutely resonate with this. And standards are so beautiful in that way where like they're so emotional and they're so applicable to different people at different times in their lives. And yeah, I just think that it's music is just fucking sick. And it's true. People
Yeah.
never stop
It's
going through the
universal.
same shit.
Music is the most universal thing in the world.
It's true.
Mhm.
But also sometimes I can listen to old music and I can be like, damn, like shit really hasn't changed. Like you can listen to Marvin
Exactly.
Gaye and be like, did he write this yesterday? Like I don't understand.
Like
And
Yeah.
it's like,
same
oh.
problems. Like it's just the same problems that be happening all the time.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's crazy.
So honest. Oh no,
Oh,
you
go ahead.
going, you going. No, no, you going.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure. You probably know Chet Baker, jazz musician.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, right. He was born in like the 1920s, I think. But he has a song called "I Fall in Love Too Easily," right? And those lyrics and the way he sings it, it's so modern. But like you wouldn't think
So
that would be somebody born 100 years ago. You know what I
That
mean?
album, that album is like there was a year when that was like ultimately the only album I listened to. Chet Baker
Really?
Sings. Yeah. I became like so obsessed with that record. And it's really funny because like there's so many songs on that project that are songs that I would put into this standards album. But like that album just like I don't know, that album just like hit me in this way. And that was the first song
Really?
that I heard on that project.
Yeah.
And that he's just amazing. And those standards that he chose also are so amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And his voice is so clear. Oh my, like he's just
it just
Literally,
sounds it's easy to resonate.
You could take him from like back then, put him right now, and he could make the same music, and it would
100%.
still like have that same type of effect. It's just like incredible.
And I think there's something about his voice. It's like it almost. I feel like when you listen to him, it feels almost as if he's not even singing. It's just like this thing that is just like
straight from just his emotion.
Yeah, like it just feels
It's
so
him
accidental almost in a way.
Exactly.
Like he's not trying. He's not trying to sing. He's just kind of like saying it just
how he feels.
Yeah.
It just comes out
scatting
perfectly.
too. If you listen to other albums, I don't feel like he does a lot of scatting on Chet Baker Sings, but he has other songs where he does scatting, and just like because he's such a phenomenal horn player, he hears like the most ridiculous melodies in his head. And there's songs of his, there's him and Ella both are like jazz singers where I will try to sing along to their scatting, and like it doesn't matter if I listen to the song 500 times, I can't follow it at all because they're like their brain and their vocals are working in this way that like it's just like not comprehensible to me at all.
It's crazy. It's like totally different than like what anybody else would pick up on. You know, it's crazy.
So beautiful.
It's just art. So honestly, to move on to the next question that I have for you. So you're not only just a songwriter, musician, producer, but you also like are a visual artist with clothing and everything. So can you just like tell us all about it? Like how does that work? How do you like?
I would say visual art has always been like a huge part of my life. My mom is a visual artist. My grandmother was a visual artist. And like, I mean, there's probably like art of hers somewhere up. No, I guess this is all me behind me. I'm like, well, there's a.
I just gotta say, real quick, that looks like such a nice studio. Like,
that is the coolest studio I've ever seen in my life.
That's why like I don't leave the house. Is like I love being in here. This is my favorite.
Look at that.
Like, that's just such an environment that I like. It's just so
you have to like if you're working in a creative way, you have to have your space be like reflecting that of you, or else it's like what you can make space in just a white room that's like has dirt in the corner. Like no, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I would say that like my visual art is like it's so deeply inspired by my mom's visual art and also my grandmother's. Both of them just like insanely creative, whimsical, like funny, colorful, like brilliant visual artists. My grandmother, I have a book. So my grandmother used to always like tell me the story about how her parents threw away all of her artwork and she has no artwork that she made when she was a kid. And my grandmother made me a book, I think when I was like 10 years old, where she had saved every art that I had ever drawn, because we were drawing all the time, writing stories, all this stuff together. And I have this like a book like this big and this thick of just like all the drawings that she saved of mine, and she like made them each into like their own collage, and she just like instilled in me that like art and visual art are just like precious things, and it's not something to like it's
I resonate with that, because that's something big me, like they've always told me like save all your artwork they made, you know, when you're a kid, like hold on to that, because you know not only is that memories, but it kind of shows your growth like as you get older. So that's definitely really cool.
Completely. And it's like my mom is a costume designer, and she went when she was like 19, went to Otis Parsons, and she has literal like drawings that she made of outfits she designed when she was a fucking baby, and like I cherish those as well. And it's like one day my kid, hopefully they like art also, because like they're gonna get all this fucking shit behind me, and I hope they like it. You know what I mean? But like it's so precious for me to see stuff that like even I have like old artworks of my grandmother's, not from when she was a kid, but like she used to do illustrations in like magazines and newspapers, and she like had a toy, like she designed toys and stuff. And like I mean it's not here, but like I have like incredible sculptures literally in the next room that my grandmother made. And it's just like, oh, like I just like those are my prized possessions. My prized possessions is artwork that I have from my grandmother and my mom. And so like I just like I love visual art. It's not my strong, like I'm really good at singing. Like that's something I've been working on for my whole life. And like that is like the thing where I'm like, yeah, I'm really fucking good at this and I love doing it. But with visual art, I wouldn't say like I'm a great visual artist. I just love I like love painting more than anything in this world. And so like I feel so lucky that I get to like I am so lucky that like that gets to be my business. Is
Yeah.
doing the thing that like
Yeah.
I love the absolute most in the world.
You took your passion and turned it into, you know, what you do in life.
A life.
Oh, like, I'm a
Yeah.
fucking hustler. Like I will turn a business. You can say anything to me and I'll be like, this is how you turn it into a business. Like this has been ingrained in me for some reason. Like I'm just like a businesswoman in my brain somewhere. But I've just felt and it kind of fell into my lap making clothes as well. Like it was just something that I started doing for fun. And, you know, Benny Blanco hit me up and was like, can I commission you to like paint me a pair of jeans? And I was like, business. I was like, yes, and now this is my business.
That's cool. You know, you're pretty good at these commissions because I have this
I'm
right
so
here.
happy you got that. I'm
Such
so
a nice shirt. That
and
is
you know
such a
what's
cool
so
shirt.
cute? Those faces are like those are faces that I started drawing in high school. Like that's like been like a part of my world forever. Like I have a drawing, I don't know if you can like there's a little drawing of
Yeah.
them over
Yeah, we
here.
can kind of see it. Yeah.
Like
That's
this
the
is
only
really
one.
like one of my like prize shirts I have now. Like this is it's
So
so
like it's really cool. Like
No, you
I think
killed it with the design. You like a lot like, and I think I sent you this in the email, but like a lot of people will come to me and be like, "Oh, like I don't know, like maybe I want something like this." And you showed up and you were like, "Here's the design. I already made it. I want this color shirt. This is what I want them to look like." And I was like, "Thank you."
boom. Yeah, it's
So
a
yeah.
really nice
it's
shirt.
just so fun. It's so fun just to do that, to have people hit me up and be like, "Make me pants with like eyeballs all over them." And I'm like, "Yes." Okay. And it's so special too because it's like they take so long to make. Like it's not a very good business model because like I have to paint for like days sometimes, but I just enjoy it the whole time. And I just love it almost feels like I'm like a tattoo artist because it's like, you know, when you get a tattoo, it's like this person's art exists on my body for the rest of
Yeah.
my life. And it feels really special that like random people all over the world have like this pair of pants that like I slaved over for like a week. And now they get to have this like piece of my art forever.
All the way on the other coast.
Yeah.
Literally. No, like there's dudes like in Australia. I have 2 clients in Australia. I got people in Canada. Like it's really
Crazy.
it's so
That's
cool.
yeah.
And
And you
sometimes
can
I forget to like think about how like just like how cool that is and how like
yeah,
lucky I am for that.
and like you can like feel your passion through it too. Cause I remember when I like ordered that for commission, like through the email, I was just like laying on my bed. I was like, oh, you know, maybe she gets back in like a week or something. Like that'd be cool. And 5 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, yes, I love this idea. I'll get right
It's
on that. Like,
I don't know like what people think I'm doing, but the amount of messages I get that are like, you're probably never gonna see this, but I just need to say da da da. And I'm like, why do you think I'm not gonna see it? Like what? You think I'm just like
Like
I don't like I'm just like I get
oh,
so many messages of people being like, you're probably way too busy to respond to me. And I'm like, what do you guys think I'm doing?
right. It's,
Like,
I don't
I'm
know.
here.
Like, you know, when she sees it, I guess, you know, I'm patient, but then like 5 minutes later, you're on it. You're like, oh my God, I love
boom.
this. I'll get on that right now. Like the materials, like I got that ready. I'm
Well,
like,
because
wow.
I get too excited about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I get so excited about someone like wanting my art. So like of course I'm gonna respond immediately. You know?
yeah,
Especially like the messages that I get that like aren't about commissions, but like I get like, you know, I get a good amount of messages on Instagram of people just being like, you're probably not gonna see this, but like this song meant so much to me and like it helped me like through my breakup and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna respond to that in 2 fucking seconds as well because like that's what the fuck I'm doing this for. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm doing this so that like someone will email me and be like, "Oh my God, I love your art. Make me a shirt." Or like, "Oh my God, I love this song. Like let me tell you my experience with it." Like that's what the shit that I live for. So like of course
Mm.
I'm gonna be like right there responding with like an essay.
yeah. No, but like it's crazy because like you can like really feel like how much you love doing what you do through things like that. Like you're very, very responsive with things like that. And obviously you have everything on display in your studio. Like you like mean it, what you do, you know?
You have a passion.
Completely. No, it really is. And I was talking about, yeah, I don't know, I was talking about this with my manager this morning too, where it's like Daisy World was kind of like an accidental name because like the band was called Daisy, so I couldn't just be Daisy. And Daisy World was like randomly the name of my Depop store. And I just like started calling my clothes Daisy World. And then when Tyler hit me up to do Rise, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do this under Daisy World. And that was like the first thing that I really was like, I'm Daisy World for this. And it all just was, it's also so kismet because it's like, it is actually a whole world. Like there's like such an aesthetic about it. There's an energy about it. There's like, you know what I mean? Like it really is a world. So it all ended up kind of, yeah, it's like accidentally was like the absolute perfect name for all of this.
Yeah. You know, like since you're talking about your feature with like Tyler, I figured like we can just get into that because I feel like a lot of people want to talk about that. So aside from solo and group music, you become well known for your collaborations with Steve Lacy on a song Like Me, which is like one of my favorite songs, and Rise. So like tell us a little bit about like how these collaborations came to be and like how they contacted you or you came into contact with them and how they like impacted your career.
Yes. Ultimately it's like they were friends. So like I've been friends with the internet for a long time. I've been friends with Travis Taco for a while. And so it was just like, we're all like in a similar circle. I used to go to this restaurant that like Tyler was always at. And that's like ultimately how we like actually got to know each other. And me and my friends used to throw backyard shows every year in his backyard. And there was one year where like I think Steve played his first show back there. My band was opening up for him and Tyler came, and he basically like since then like he used to like come to like all of the band shows, and like he was just a supporter of me and of us for a really long time, which is just like so cool. It's so he was always a person that I really looked up to. I was always a fan of the music. Like I was a huge fan of like Loiter Squad. Like I was like a big Odd Future fan. And for him to like not only be at the show, but to then be like, this is really fucking cool. Like I want to come to all of the shows was so special. And like that whole group of people, like, people will often say like, don't meet your heroes, and like meet your fucking heroes, because like that squad of people are like the most kind, welcoming, supportive group of people ever. Like they're not the type of people who are gonna like, they don't think they're too cool for nothing, you know what I mean? Like they're really just like good ass people. And I'm trying to remember how the Steve song happened. But I'm pretty sure he was just like, well, Steve was like, I'm queer, and that was like when I was like kind of coming out to everyone. He was like, we were all hanging out together, and he kind of sent me the song and was like, I really would love to hear your take on this concept. And so that's how that song came to be, and we recorded it in like a little room, and it just happened so naturally. And I really love that song too, and it's kind of like my only song I've ever written where like I've spoken about my queer experience. And so he really gave me like such a nice opportunity to speak on that in that way too. And like sometimes I listen to that song and I'm like, how did I write those words? Like some of it is so like I don't know, like it's really like kind of like complex lyrics, and I'm like sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing that I was like writing these lyrics? But Steve is amazing. His last album like rocked my fucking world. Like I'm so proud of him, and he's an incredible man. So that's how that happened. And the Tyler song, very similarly, like one day he just hit me and was like, hey, I have a song. And like me and Tyler aren't like close. So like getting a text from him still is like very like jarring. And he texted me and he was like, hey, I have a song that like I want to hear your voice on. And I, of course, like convinced myself that like I was going to be like part of a choir. Like I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up. Like, I don't want to think I'm writing on the song and like whatever. So I was just like, I'm probably just going to be part of a choir or something. And I got to the studio and it was just me. And, he played me the song and it was fucking amazing. And the story is really cool ultimately. And I'll share the whole story, which is that So I get to the studio, he's playing me the song, and there's the section that I'm on, like the bridge section. And
Yeah.
like, the chords are really complex, and so it was like a little bit tricky to write a melody on top of. So I was like sitting there and he's playing the section on loop, and I was like, Daisy, like don't let any fucking sound come out of your mouth until you've written something perfect and beautiful, because like you don't want to fuck this up. And so I'm sitting there being like, how am I gonna write to this? And so at a certain point I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start like doing what I do, which like I just started like scatting and like singing random shit over it. And he was like, stop, go in the booth, sing random shit, and like we're gonna piece together a melody. And I was like, okay. So I go into the booth and I'm just literally like singing random sounds. I'm singing like in all these different weird parts of my voice, because like I like to sing kind of weirdly sometimes. Like I use weird parts of my voice that like usually like I save for just myself, because I think it's like, I don't know, I think it's weird. And every time I would do something weird, like him and Vic, the engineer, would be like screaming in the other room and like just gassing me up in this way. So I was literally like just improvising over it for like 10 minutes, go back in the studio, he cuts it up into this like kind of weird sounding melody. I re-sing it so like more cohesive. And then he wrote the words for it. I went in there, I sang it, and then I started just like he was like, I want you to do improvisations over the whole song, which is why there's so many like weird, just like me singing like pads
Yeah.
underneath the music.
Ah, yeah.
And so I'm singing random shit under the whole song, and then I'm singing harmonies, and then he got so excited, he comes in the booth and he's singing harmonies with me. And it was just like, it was such a beautiful experience, because it taught me that like I can do what I want to do, and like that is good enough. I don't have to like feel like I need to be perfect, or I need to sing one way, or that I always need to sound good in order for it to be accepted. Like in that session, like he really showed me that like I can do all the weird shit that I love, and like someone's gonna love that as well. I don't need to be perfect. I can just be me, and that is good enough. And it was just such a great experience. And he's amazing too. Like so amazing. And he's one of the people that I look up to most as a musician, and with like the fashion brand and everything. So it just feels really like, it's
Yeah.
crazy for me. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think people are like, oh, you're friends with Tyler. That's so cool. And I'm like, no, no, no. He is also one of my heroes. Like, you don't understand.
That's just so incredible how you're just like encouraging, like when you were, because I understand like what you're saying. Like when you go into an environment like that, it's probably really like not overwhelming, but again,
Yeah.
pressure. Like it's almost like dread. Like you're like, what
No,
if I do
it's overwhelming.
it? Yeah. That's just, I don't know. That's just crazy to think about. And like you said, like even though you know him and you have connections to him, like he's still your idol at the end of the day. Like you look up to him and what he does. And the fact that you're able to, pull off a feature like that when you originally thought you were just gonna be in the background. But the fact that
Yeah.
you were a credited feature, you sang on the bridge and everything, and the fact that you're able to pull that off, that's incredible.
No, it is incredible. It's like so incredible.
It's
Yeah,
terrific.
he's
Cause
awesome.
I be
He's
hearing
awesome.
that song and I be like singing it in my room, like
Yeah,
just
me
like love it.
too.
I be singing it out loud, like
It's crazy.
I
When
love that.
Yeah, like when I first saw that feature, I was like, she was on Steve Lacy's album. And like I was like so high
yeah.
respect. And just, the fact that you just kind of like you blew that out of the water, you know what I mean? And the fact that you're able to kind of keep those standards up in front of somebody like Tyler, like that's incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
collaborating is such a fun thing, because it's like you just learn so much from each experience, because it takes you so far out of your comfort zone and like puts you into someone else's comfort zone. So it just like, no, even if like the feature doesn't end up coming out, or even if it was a bad experience collaborating with someone and having like a weird session, you just learn so much from collaborating with other people. And it is scary.
Mm.
Like I've never gone into a session and been like, I'm so confident I'm gonna kill this. I go into every session being like, are they gonna like me? Am I gonna sound good? Is anything gonna come of this? And so, but it's like you always end up learning from them. So collaborating, and I think that this is probably across the board in like every business, like collaborating is so important.
You learn from other
Yeah.
like that's it's not even just about connections. Like people talk about, oh, networking, whatever. No, it's about the experience of learning and like what you can learn from others because I'm sure, none of
Yeah.
us would be good if we didn't, understand the way other people operate and, you turn that into what you do.
Completely.
Yeah.
Everybody has something that they could teach the next person.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So in 2019, you performed with your band Daisy at Camp Flognaw, since we're on the topic of Tyler and all. So how did that moment even happen? Like, how did you end up at Camp Flognaw, and how did that like impact you so much after performing
That
there?
was like that was like life goal. That was the life goal for me. It was like one day I'll play Camp Flognaw. And I remember I was actually in the same backyard that I was talking about, the backyard shows were
Yeah,
happening
the
at.
backyard. Yeah.
I was just in that backyard. And I think that like my agent was like doing like secret underground business, because he didn't even tell me that like we were submitted for that or that it was even a possibility. But I'm pretty sure I just got a text from my agent being like, "You're playing Camp Flognaw," and I literally was like, I was in full
So
shock.
incredible.
I was like in full shock, and it's like the show was amazing. It was our first big festival show, and it's
That's a pretty big.
so it's just so weird to play to a big audience. It's a really different experience. Um, but it was so special and so amazing, and like still remains like a highlight of my life. And my mom made me the sickest fucking outfit that anybody has ever seen for that show. I literally have it like in my closet. I want to like put it into a box and so it can be displayed like in my house, because she absolutely killed it. She like hand bedazzled all this stuff. It said my name on the back of it. Like she absolutely killed it. And I felt like such a fucking rock star. And it was
I
just
can
amazing.
imagine.
And so many people who were there like didn't know who we were, and like messaged afterward being like, "Oh, I've been following you since Camp Flogna," and blah blah blah. And it's just like, oh, it's just so amazing. It's such a cool festival. It's my favorite music festival I've ever been to. Even just like as like a person who's attending the festival, it's like, sometimes you go to music festivals and everyone's like scary and drunk and like falling over. And
Yeah.
there's like a darkness about it.
Coachella.
Literally like spooky town. At Camp Flogna, like everyone's wearing like bright colors and
Vibe.
smiling and going
Yeah.
on rides. Like
I've always
Totally
wanted to go.
the best. You should go.
Or I need
Yeah,
to go like
one day
once
I
before, because I heard they're doing it this year. So like I really
They
want
are
to go.
doing
Or
it
like
this year.
they're mad expensive, but like it feel like it'll be so worth it.
It is. I know festivals are so expensive. Like
I know.
I don't go to festivals because they're so expensive. And
Yeah.
especially if you have to like fly in,
Out of
find a place
town,
to
yeah.
Be a
stay.
long flight.
So what
Yeah.
I will say is like Flogna is worth it. And it is crazy to me that it sold out before people even knew what the lineup was.
Oh, people have
Yeah.
complete these lineups, and
It
I
sold
don't
out in
blame
like
them.
an hour.
The
Yeah.
second the tickets came out, it literally sold out. I was like, dang, you didn't even give me like a week to like get the money. Like
I know. No time to discuss it with anybody. Like, gotta go. My mom and dad. Go to Camp Flogna. No time.
No time.
No time.
Crazy. But an incredible festival. And playing it
Yeah.
was amazing. And yeah.
And it's just crazy to think
great.
about like the evolution of like you playing. Like it ended up in was like Taco's backyard to like doing these
In
like,
my friend Cameron's backyard. But
Yeah.
yes,
Cameron's
Travis was his
yeah.
friend.
doing like those shows, and then like opening for like Steve Lacy in like that small, just in a like in more intimate setting like that. Then to doing your own little
Yeah.
bit larger shows. Then going to Camp Flogna with that same kind of group of people, just a much bigger audience. That's more exposure for you, and like that's incredible.
It is incredible. It really is. And it's like, being a musician is really fun, but it's also like very scary and very hard. And so all those wins, you have to like really learn how to celebrate them. Because
Yeah.
I can be a person who's like really scared about like what happens next. So it's like I remember like after playing Flogna the next day I was so depressed. Because I think number one, like I was having like crazy like dopamine blast like for the whole
Yeah.
day, and just so much like excitement and whatever that like the next day I was like not a human, I was a rag doll. And I feel like it's really good to kind of think back on those things. And like it is true that like going from like playing in a backyard to then like playing at fucking like Dodger Stadium is like such a huge leap to happen in like a matter of years. That like I do sometimes like really need to internalize those wins and internalize those moments. Also to just remind myself that like anything can happen at any fucking time. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't expecting Tyler to hit me to be like, come be on this song. Like that to me was like a miraculous thing that occurred. And it's like other miraculous things can occur at any time. And it's like you just have to learn how to be grateful and not like worried that it's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I would be nervous about. I feel like I'd be so wrapped up in the what's next that I wouldn't like enjoy it in the moment.
Definitely.
What it is, yeah.
That is my life. Like that is
I
so deeply
agree.
my life, is like worrying and what's gonna happen and what's gonna happen. But the thing that I've been thinking about so much recently is like you need to be present, and like you need to like take your ego out of like every part of your life. Like every day you need to like sit down with yourself and be like, I'm not going to worry about what people think about me. I'm not going to worry about like how many likes I get on this Instagram. I'm not going to worry about if like somebody somewhere thinks that like I'm like ugly and look stupid. Like I just need to be doing everything that like feels good to me in this moment, that I'm excited about and feels like genuine and good. And you have to like remove the ego out of shit, because like if that was the case, like you wouldn't be thinking about what's next. You would just be like, fuck yeah, I just accomplished one of my life goals. That's so great. Let's keep celebrating and like let's have fun today. Where like instead you're kind of like, oh God, like what's gonna happen now? Like what if nothing great
Yeah.
ever happens again? What did other people think about my outfit? Like you have to like, I'm like just like having this like that was what I was talking about with my manager this morning. Is just like you need to learn how to like take your ego out of every equation and like just feel like excited and grateful and wanting to have fun and appreciating all those crazy things that happen.
I really needed that.
Me too. Like I feel like
That's such good advice.
yeah, not even just as humans, but just as like like creative people. I feel like we all like go through
Yeah,
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you're so focused
definitely.
on like what you're doing, like the outcome of it, and even just as humans, like just you're so worried about the outcome in
Yeah.
the future and the after. You're not focused on right now. You know, and that's really good
Totally.
advice.
Totally. I mean,
Thank
and
you for that.
it's true. It is like literally applicable to anybody, because it's like, I don't know. I think that like if nobody had any ego on this planet, like people would be dressing crazy different. People would be doing all kinds of crazy things, but it's like especially when you're young, it's like, there's like a pack mentality, or like wanting to fit in and not wanting to be made fun of and not wanting to feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
like, then like what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? If you're not like, if you don't know who you are and learning who you are and being that person, then like what the fuck are you doing? It's so boring to be
Yeah.
that way. But it is like this dichotomy that's always happening of being like, I'm the best, I'm doing whatever I want, and I don't care what people think. And then being like, no, you should care. Somebody's somewhere was probably laughing at you. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
hard, especially like I'm going through this right now because I'm releasing this song, and I have been working my ass off, and like I have been, I made a whole music video. Like I had the cover art done. I made all this merch. Like I'm trying so hard right now, and it's like the scariest thing ever, because it feels like I feel like I could be so easily embarrassed by myself at this moment, because I am trying so hard and I care so much about what I'm doing, which is why I need to be like grounding myself and being like, I am having fun, and like that's all I'm gonna do, is I'm just gonna try to have fun and like have that just be what I do every day, and not worrying about if someone else thinks it's good or not.
Yeah,
that's good out.
definitely.
Like it's
That's
true.
like
I think we all care too much sometimes, you know what I mean? And especially when you talk
yeah.
about people would be dressing different and like just like, doing things that feel true to them. We're all just I feel like it's like since we're little too. It's just something we're brought up with since we're little. Like if you're in kindergarten and you play with other toys, like do something different that other kids, they'll like tease you or whatever, and that mentality kind of sticks with you as you get older. And then eventually you're just worrying about, what other people
Boom.
drive, be
So
embarrassed.
self-conscious.
Yeah. You feel like your job isn't good
Yeah.
enough, stuff like that.
Complete. I had this exact conversation with my manager this morning, because I was talking about, he was like, I feel like you have been creating this world since you were a kid. Like you've been creating this album since you were a child. And I was just like, recounting to him, like I was like, if you see pictures of me as a kid, you're like, yeah, of course that's who she was. Like I had like crazy hairdos. I was wearing like elbow pads to school with like a rainbow arm warmer, and like my hair with like rainbow extensions. Like I was being crazy. And like I got made fun of so hard all the time for being different. Like, why are you wearing boots? Like we're all wearing sneakers. Why does your hair look like that? Like all of our hair looks like this. And
Yeah.
I feel so And it affected me. Of course, it affected me. Like, I have so much doubt in myself and so much insecurity, but the bigger part of me was always like, I like what I like, and I'm gonna continue doing that thing. Wait, I have a story. Okay, this is the story that has like kept me going as a human. Okay,
Let's hear it.
I'm like in the 4th grade. I'm at this girl's birthday party. I'm sitting in some room with like a circle of girls, and everyone is like shit talking mushrooms, the food. Everyone's like, I don't like mushrooms. Mushrooms are disgusting. Like, nobody should ever eat mushrooms. I never want to eat a mushroom. And I'm sitting there listening to everyone, and I was like, I actually like, I really like mushrooms. Like, I kind of love mushrooms. And then like everyone looked at me, and I was like, fuck, I fucked up. I'm about to have to leave this birthday party. And then another girl was like, wait, like I kind of like mushrooms too. And then another person was like, yeah, mushrooms are actually really good. And slowly the whole room is talking about how they love mushrooms. And in that moment, I was like, oh, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Everybody is just trying to be like everyone else and be likable. And like, it is not, you are doing just a disservice to all the people around you to be like, just agreeing with everyone. And like that mushroom story is like, that is a story that I tell all the time, because it's like, that is just like, that's the perfect example to me.
That's pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Once you're outside the box, like you're gonna be like, yo, you're weird, whatever, until like most people realize, like, wait, this is like,
yeah, I actually like that too.
Yeah. Like, it's just, I feel like so many people are just like following one type of thing, where like they don't even really think about like, okay, what if this thing isn't like, you know, is I don't rock with it like someone else does, or like something like that. So that's like the type of thing that like,
it's really
like
human to want to be part of a group. Like, it's really human to be like, I need protection. I need to be part of a group. I need to have people that I'm connected with. Where like sometimes when you're doing your own thing, it's like it can leave you kind of like, it can make you a little bit of a loner, because it's like you're like, oh, I'm so different than everyone. I can't relate to anybody else. Or like, I'm so different and everybody like has this like similar thing. And like that's something that I've thought about so much in my life, and like I've had to like always be reassuring myself like it is okay. Like, it's always okay. I can do the things I want to do, and it's okay. And I don't have to be like other people, or think the same way other people do, or do things the same way other people do. And I think it's just been like reflected to me so many times in my life that like that was the right choice. Like, I was talking with my manager today about how I used to have, especially when I was younger, I'd have a lot of meetings with like music business people who would just be like, your music is too all over the place. You need to pick a genre. Like, you need to keep like, this song is doing really well. Keep making songs like that. And that shit would just piss me off so hard. And now like being like genreless is like such a thing that is celebrated in artists. And it's like, yeah, like nobody, like nobody should ever be telling artists what to do and how to make X, Y, and Z. That shit, like, it blows my mind that like those are the people like that are running the music business, is people who are just like, Daisy, like you should really write Way Cool Baby Love over and over again, and like you should just be making pop R&B. Where it's like, no, like I actually do want to write a jazz standard, and I actually do want to write like this song that's like super hip hop inspired, and then I want to make like a beautiful ballad. Like, I love being able to just do whatever the heck I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what art is for.
I feel that so much. Like, 'cause I especially felt that. I think I had a couple of my friends, because I hang out with some of my friends at my school also make music too, but like they're not like the exact same wavelength type thing. So like I would be like, yo, I have this idea to do this type of thing, and like this type of thing. They'll be like, nah, you got to, you know, stick to that, and then maybe once you get an audience, you could switch up. And like, and I'm just like, so like literally, I just like have like just the raging to do anything, like nothing. I don't want to just stay in a box of like, I'm just gonna make that.
You don't need to. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs more of what already exists. You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck would you keep doing that? It's already been done. Do like everybody should be doing exactly what the fuck they want to do. And like think about the stories you hear that like you love, where it's like an artist being like, blah 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 told me I would never succeed, and she told me that like my voice wasn't good enough, and that my songwriting was too weird and too crazy, and now look at me, like I'm so popular. And it's like, we love hearing those stories, and it's like, why don't we then just like, doesn't like, these stories should make us be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing me. But it's really hard to believe in yourself, when nobody else does. It's really hard to back yourself, even when other people do. You know what I mean? I've had, like, you asked me earlier about the process of making the album, and I said, like, oh, it was so great and da da da. The process, like, whatever happened, something occurred with me after making the album where, like, I was like down bad. I was like depressed. I have never experienced so much doubt, like self-doubt in my life. I was so insecure. I'm like the most anxious I have ever been in my whole life. And it's like, because I'm doing something so scary, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing this, like I feel like I'm doing the scariest thing that I have ever done, which is like make an entire album completely just based on what I think is good and what I like. I know I'm doing shit different than other people. Like it sounds different. Like the way that I work is different. Everything is different. And that makes it so much more scary, but it also makes it so much more rewarding. And like even on my like worst days, which I have so often, it's like I just have to keep reminding myself that like the most important thing that I need to be doing right now is backing myself. Because if I don't back myself, nobody is going to. If I'm walking around being like, hi, like, do you like this? Like, do you think it's good? Everyone's gonna be like, you know, go away.
Exactly.
But if I show up and I'm like, I worked my ass off, I think this is fucking amazing, I know that it's different, I think you're gonna fucking like it, you're gonna be like, okay, I'll listen to this.
Yeah.
So it's all about mentality. And it's like, it's so hard to be different, and it's so hard to be an artist and like create something from thin air and like just like hope to God that like somebody else is gonna like it. But it's like, that's the only art to me that's worth making. If you're not freaked out and scared to release something, you probably should throw it in the trash anyways.
It's almost like in the scenario, your album is the mushrooms. And, you know, as long as you're out there and you say that, you know, you're proud of what you did, you're proud of what you worked on, and you know it's different, then slowly everybody else will like the mushrooms.
I love that. That's absolutely true. My album is the mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
I love that. Yeah, I need to show up. Everyone needs to be like, I hate your soggy. I hate your soggy. And I'm just gonna like wear a disguise and be like, I love your soggy. I think it's the song of the song. Everyone's gonna be like, okay, I think you're right.
Yeah, wait, you may be right.
Start liking it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Full circle. Yeah. It's crazy.
What a moment.
Yeah. Now, we're pretty much almost done here, but one last thing. So before we wrap up the interview, is there anything that not only you'd like the audience to know about yourself or about your endeavors, but what's like a final message? Like if you could give yourself advice that you'd want others to follow, aside from, you know, the individuality and everything like that, like what is just what it even could be, but what is one that you want everybody to take away from knowing who you are?
Whoa. Oh yeah. God, there's so many things. What do I want people to take away? I think that it's important. Like, I want people to feel like I'm such a big part of this project is like, I feel like it's really important to me that like people get to know me. And I don't mean like, you know, see me on Instagram or like see me on the stage. Like, I really like want people to feel like I'm their homie. Like that's really important to me. And it's like even in making my music video and making this album and all of like the marketing for everything, like I feel like it's all been really based in like wanting people to leave that experience, whether it's a live show or a music video. I want people to leave that feeling like, oh, I just like spent some really good, intimate, quality one-on-one time with your girl. You know what I mean? Like I have no like desire to be like on a pedestal or like be this person where you're like, oh, she's so far away. Like I'm just like, I just want to like, I want it all to feel like we're all becoming friends and like we're all in this family. Like I just want to be like we're all in this together. You know what I mean? And like I was saying earlier, it's like the communication between the audience and the artist is like so important to me. And I really like I value the shit out of my fans. Like those are not, you know, when I get all those messages of being like, oh, you're probably not going to see this. It's like I really want everyone to know that like I do see it. And like, you have no idea how much it means to me. Like, I'm doing this, like, I'm doing this because like, it is what I do. And like, I love making music and like, that is just what I do, period. But like, I'm here for you. I'm here to like, my biggest goal is to like, make you feel good and like, have a great time and feel understood and heard and connected with. And like, I just want whoever is a fan of mine, I want them to know that like they are deeply appreciated and seen by me, and like I like respect and like adore every single one of them. And yeah, just like I'm here for the people.
Yeah.
That's good because not a lot of artists think that way. So the fact that
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of people appreciate.
I
Yeah,
hope, I mean,
definitely.
it's just part of the gig, Like I think that people make art for so many different reasons, and there's so many different things that make people feel good. And like for me, the thing that makes me feel the best is like when I get to have like one-on-one experiences with people and share my stories and help people through whatever they're going through, and just like chat. Like I have like really good relationships with a lot of like my fans, and I think that they don't understand like that it's like me having conversations with fans, like you don't have to say thank you, you know what I mean? It's not like this thing that I'm like, oh, gotta like respond back to this message. It's like that is the shit truly that I live for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I am
Yeah.
here for you.
It's
I'm here,
real.
like I want, like please, like there's no, I want to be like the most approachable person in your life,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I want, I guess, people to know.
I think that's a very good message.
Definitely. Like
I think that's what everybody fans would want to hear.
Daisy
Yeah,
World for the people.
I guess that's what I would want to hear too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much concludes this episode of Mellow Talk. Just want to say thank you for joining us for this episode and for the magazine, which so thank you for having this conversation with us.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys.
This
has been great for me. So fun.
All right. Well, that's about it for it. Everyone make sure to, follow us and follow along with the magazine and be featured in issue 5. So make sure everybody checks that out. And so that's about it. And as Aztro would say, mellow out.
Mellow out.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, I didn't mean to make it sad, but you can't blame me.